and just talk to her about like bar ownership.
Yeah, she gave us.
What do we got to do? And she gave us. I feel like she dropped some knowledge.
I guess we were just like isolated losers.
Yeah, we were out on an island there
the last 2 years, and it's good to not be that anymore. I think is
it's
the
good
best
not to
way
be
to describe it.
Isolated loser anymore. Like there have been other rugby players to come into the NFL, and they weren't like stars. This guy's like a star.
This one has a lot of hair. This one has a normal amount of hair. It's Pat and Alex. This one was born in Raytown. This one lives in Raytown. They opened a store in the pandemic, and this is a show about it. Hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle, hustle and bustle. Here is the show.
Hello and welcome back. Oh my God, that was weird.
Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to Hustle and Bustle. I am Pat.
I'm Alex.
It's been a minute. It seems like the weather's turned. It's lovely outside. Traffic is terrible. Those are the two things that I think about the most in the mornings, which is when we record.
Yeah, I don't deal with traffic as much, but when Tom was here, I guess we can kind of segue right into that. He was discussing how he was going to have to fight traffic back to Parkville, and it just sent me back to PTSD and driving through traffic every morning and evening.
See, I hop on. Yesterday, I was supposed to go to a meeting. Right down Main Street had a meeting, and so I was trying to get there, and I was like going to be right on time. And then I'd take the back roads through like Lakewood, down to like Nolan Road, and there was a road closure, so I had to like divert and go all the way back through Rees-Zammit, and so I was gonna be 15 minutes late. I'm like, 15 minutes is like 10 minutes is the threshold. That was what I decided in college. If you're gonna be more than 10 minutes late to class, just don't go.
Yeah.
Do you not have a threshold like that?
Oh, it was like a minute.
Oh yeah.
Can't make it.
Yeah. So, anyways. That route's gone. 70 today. I was on I-70, and there was a wreck, but one car looked like it could definitely still drive. If not drive, like be pushed. It just really looked like it had a little bit of front-end damage, and it was taking up the entire left lane of I-70 heading westbound into downtown. And, like, sure, like but no one seemed to be critically injured. There was no ambulance on site. It was just, like, a cop car, like, taking notes. But, like, an entire lane on 70 was shut down. I'm like, no one thought to let's push this motherfucker onto the shoulder so we can open her back up?
I would have melted with anxiety.
I did.
Because I as the person who got in the wreck, because I know as someone in the I would be fuming.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, everyone hates me. Can we move this car?
I felt that when I was in a bus that rolled over and we blocked the entirety of 435, every lane. I looked up at one point after I realized I was lucky to be alive, and I was like, oh, like no one's going north. We should probably get this cleaned up, fellas.
Yeah, I'm not built to do traffic on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's awful.
Nope.
Anyways, we have new consignor in the front row, and it is Tom from Northland Vintage. He's the white whale of vintage consigners.
Yeah.
We landed him.
Yeah, he's excited to be here. We're excited to have him. He's got some great stuff, and he'll be kind of rotating it pretty frequently. He's got some space up top. He said he's going to bring some shoes and hats in. Yep. But for the most part, he's all moved in.
So Tom's been doing vintage a lot. Like I would say, we talked to him for a little bit yesterday when he was moving in, and gobsmacked by like the depth of knowledge he has.
Yeah. And just how readily accessible it all was. Like I had a question, and he was like, "Oh, I got 8 answers. Let me tell you."
Yeah,
cool.
He also does content. He does like YouTube and what's Whatnot. Tell the folks what Whatnot.
So I don't really fully grasp it. I need to maybe spend some time on it.
Download? Is it a download?
I think it's an app. It's like an auction. It's like a TikTok, but for selling things.
Like a live auction.
Yeah, and you can just join people's like live auctions, and they'll hold out things and talk about it, and you can put an offer in, and then you buy it.
So he does, it's like your own QVC. Imagine like QVC meets YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah, he says some nights he sells like 4. He's had a couple nights he sold like 75 items.
Wow.
Which is a grind.
Yeah.
That sounds like a long time.
Yeah.
But
I wonder what that's like. Is there like a phone in the background you're answering to make sales?
I
guess it's through the app. People are probably purchasing through the app.
Yeah, but you're also like filming while, I don't know. He's going to be here next Thursday.
So we'll ask him.
And we'll ask him, because I got a lot of questions for him. He said he had, at one point, 1,400 items listed on eBay.
Zooks. How much time does that take?
Dude, how often do we lose phone keys and wallet? Imagine having 1,400 individual things to keep track of.
And answer questions on, and
to be able to
and ship. Best case scenario, ship.
To just know where they are would be the challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's an impressive dude. Got some. Hopefully, he'll unleash some good insight. Give us some good tips and tricks.
But one of my favorite parts about it, when he was here for our last event we did, Merch Madness, he changed his top. His shirt he was wearing 6 times.
Really?
Every time I saw him, he was in a completely different shirt.
I don't think I even noticed that.
Yeah, he came in a stained shirt, so he's insecure about that.
I do.
So he changed. But then, every time I saw him, he was wearing another piece of his clothes. And I thought it was great. But Tom's cool. And, you'll get to meet him on the podcast here soon. So we are almost full in the front room. We have still a front rack. We've done a lot of it. You've built a lot of racks up there. And, it started with we used to have the one rack that was behind the couch with a little arm, and then now it's a full U shape. So when you sit on the couch, you feel like you're inside a rack.
Like you're in a Kohl's or JCPenney as a kid.
Mom's looking for you, and you're just watching TV.
Alex, please report to the front. Your mom is very worried about you.
That's exactly it. Oh, my mom would choose to whoop the hell out of me.
That happened once, and I never did it again.
Exactly. So it feels good. We're almost there. We got some signage to touch up. And the front room will be people are getting it too. When you walk in and they see the different logos, they kind of are understanding it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that's exciting. Any thoughts about it?
It's nice to have other vendors in here as far as just the amount of knowledge that I've been learnt.
It feels like we're connected to a community now.
Yeah.
They're coming in and we talk to them.
I guess we were just isolated losers.
Yeah, we were out on an island there.
The last 2 years, and it's good to not be that anymore. I think is
it's
the
good
best
not to
way
be
to describe it.
Isolated loser.
Yeah.
Anymore. Bar update. So we're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
We posted another piece of content about it that resonated. That thing went out.
It's still going
organically.
We get another 100, 200 views every day.
Uh-oh. What just happened? You got
testing.
It's a jiggle the bottom situation would be my guess. It's always the purple mic. I hate to be colorist. It's always the purple
I can't think
mic.
of something that makes that offensive.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a bar update. We see that reel is going out there. It's really making some hay because it's you found something.
Yeah, it was a frustrated Target shopper or something. We don't need Starbucks and Target. We need thrift stores and wine.
Yeah.
And we resonate with that a lot. And it's a growing trend. I guess there's a new hardware store chain, and their big shtick is that there's a little bar with a bunch of kegs in it.
I fucking love that.
It's not like a Home Depot. It's more like a Menards. So you get the whole shebang of everything. But I see people walking around with pints of beer.
It makes me think of Home Improvement and the store that they would go to, and where there was always donuts that the one guy was taking and coffee. But yes, sign me up. That's what we need. And so you saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, that's exactly what we're doing. The world should start to know about it, and they are. And I was a little anxious when I first posted it. I posted opening summer 2025.
Yeah.
Which is next year. It's opening this year. Yeah. Summer 2024.
And then you repeated that guffaw that
I've done it a couple
this
times.
Morning.
And not just about the bar. I'm for some reason, I fixed that it's 2025 this year. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. But we're moving. We had another conversation. We met with April, who owns the Irish pub here in Raytown, who we love and respect. We work with her in Raytown Main Street, and I used to drink there a lot in my 20s when I was Alex's current age, and I used to bartend there, or not bartend there, but sit at the be the door guy there for a little while, and just talk to her about bar ownership.
Yeah, she gave us
what we got to do, and she gave us. I feel like she dropped some knowledge on us.
A lot of helpful insights. I think she confirmed a lot of things that we thought we already knew, but turned out we had a decent understanding of. But then definitely shed some light on things that we were completely clueless about. Like the whole distributor thing is going to be
Bananas.
fun. Yeah. Trying to navigate what the fuck to buy and keep in stock and how to order it and who to order it from and keep everybody happy. Like, it sounds like we have to keep them happy somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. I just
I
want
think that's what customers are supposed to be when they leave.
Well, not the customers, but the
the
distributors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like it would be good if they liked us.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
That's
it was,
everybody in life.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Got more people to make like you. Oh, great. That's all we need. But we're doing it. We're going to open a bar, and we think the thrift store bar thing is going to be something that will resonate well here.
Yeah.
And Kansas doesn't have one, and I've never been to one.
Neither have I.
So
I'll own one soon, though.
we'll own one soon, and you should come hang out at it. And that's the update. We have a bathroom. We're working hard at it. The bathroom is now up to code, and most of the garage is up to the code. We've got to put the bar back together because we had to dismantle it to put the bathroom in.
Yeah.
And we've got some significant work to do there, and get a health inspection and a liquor license, and then Bob's your uncle, and we'll sell him some liquor here.
Come and enjoy.
Yeah. Around the water cooler, some things have happened since the eclipse. How did you enjoy your eclipse?
Dude, I enjoyed it a little more than I thought I would. So I just set a timer for 1:30, and I think the peak was 1:54. Came out here and ate lunch, had a beer, and it was surprisingly pleasant. I don't know. It was calming how dark it was.
Yeah.
But still light out, and it got really cool. So it was nice to sit in the sun but not feel hot.
Did you get glasses?
I didn't get glasses, and I regretted it.
Yeah.
So I didn't stare at it, but it was fun. It was cool.
I was at home and my wife called me. She said, go to the store and get glasses. And I was like, I don't want to. And she was like, do it. And I was like, okay. And then Price Chopper was sold out.
Yeah, that was my other thing is I didn't want to get in a car and go to a couple places.
And I was like, I'm definitely not going to another place. I've come to one. That's the best I could do. So I just put on my sunglasses and I stared at it once.
Oh my God.
Like a second. And then I was like, that wasn't cool at all. And it didn't even get that dark. I got to be honest. I don't understand. I know people. I have friends who traveled for it.
You got to go to the totality.
But I've done that. We did that 7 years ago. We were in the path of totality.
I thought that was pretty cool.
You did?
Yeah, I remember that being starkly different than this.
And there's one again in 2 more years.
Not in the U.S. though. It happens it doesn't happen in the U.S. for another 60 years. I don't think.
Oh.
At least the totality. It happens every 2 years or every year, just not in the same place.
Oh.
So the place where the exact line where it gets really, really dark changes.
So it happens. My grandfather-in-law is 80, in his mid-80s, and we did the math, and he's lived through 5 eclipses.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. I just feel like the rarity of it doesn't seem that rare. I know we just had 2. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think the closeness in the last 2 maybe, but I sort of have the same feeling too. My brother and my dad, they made a day trip out to Arkansas, and I was like, good on you. They invited me, and I was like, I got the city market, can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, the eclipse happened. Hopefully, you had an enjoyable eclipse, whoever you are, and whatever that meant for you. The stadium vote also happened.
Yeah.
And we talked about, and people said, no thanks.
Yeah, pretty reassuring, or pretty confidently too. It wasn't as close as I was expecting.
What was it? It was
be.
48 it was 58 to 41 or something like that. I'm just making up numbers.
I
It
don't
was
know.
it wasn't.
It was less than 55, or it was more than 55.
Right.
Which, good. I'm excited about it.
We're a week late here on the reaction to this.
Yeah.
This was all
It'll be a
sports
little
talk
over
radio
a week late
because
when
when
we
it'll come
release
out.
it.
But that gives us the hindsight of knowing what everybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a segment of people that say the Chiefs are definitely going to Kansas. It's 80% done.
Not happening.
They're already there. They can't wait. This is exactly what they wanted. They wanted to go.
There's a lease already made up for the sports complex in Jackson County.
And then the Royals are going to Nashville. They're gone. They'll never talk to Jackson County again.
Yeah, according to, what's her name?
John Sherman's wife.
Yeah. I thought, who's the owner's name?
John Sherman.
Okay, yeah, John Sherman's wife. That was a stupid riddle. I thought he gave out a measured disappointed, but a PR response, and then it was like 2 hours later, his wife,
like,
"We're never talking to Jackson County again."
Jackson County. So what do you make of it? I mean, why do you think it? That you would? Did you vote?
I did. I voted no. The Royals are cool, and I definitely like don't want them to leave, but I would forget in 5 years
About the Royals.
Yeah, if someone told me,
It's cold-blooded.
Yeah, I'm not a big baseball fan unless there's some major changes. Like, have you seen the banana boats?
Banana boats.
Banana. You know what I'm talking about?
Savannah Bananas.
Yes. He did like. I was listening to a podcast, and he toured like games all across the U.S. and was trying to figure out why baseball sucks. And he came up with all of the right reasons, and he made a game that is more fun to watch.
It's Chippendales.
But there's something to learn from it. I think just like the XFL, NFL could look at a few rules and adopt them. But I don't know. I'm just not a big baseball fan.
I'm not a big baseball fan either. I don't think the sport is like in a growth pattern.
Yeah,
so I don't. I'm a little bit ambivalent. I don't want the Royals to leave. I'm not ambivalent about. I want them to stay, but I would not be. I think I could live through them leaving. I don't want them to leave. I don't think they should leave. I think if they go to Nashville or wherever the fuck they go, they're not gonna like become the darling of that city and have some wild success.
They're gonna have to go through all of the same hardships that they went through with
baseball's now nostalgia. Baseball is now nostalgia.
And unless you're the Yankees, or unless you have like a nostalgic, deep-rooted
or the Cardinals. We lived in
brand.
St. Louis for a little while, and they love their baseball, and that ain't fucking changing.
That is
But you're not
totally
going to
true.
move to Nashville and become the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, that took 100 years. Like, that's not going to be... That
doesn't make any sense at all. The move to the Legends makes a little sense, maybe.
If they went to the Legends. See, I like them in North Kansas City.
Me too.
I actually think that if they were in downtown North Kansas City, that'd be dope as shit. That would be a great day to go to the Royals and traipse around downtown North Kansas City.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. I'm not. They can leave Jackson County. I'm fine with it. I don't want them to leave Kansas City. Anyways, that happened. Ultimately, I think I just had this epiphany. It was like, okay, Jackson County, we're gonna get rid of the Royals and move them downtown and like. Go through an obscene expense to put them downtown and like change everything and like parking. I still am just like, how the fuck is that going to work? Honestly. And so anyway, we're going to do all this and we're going to just mow down Kauffman, which is a beautiful ballpark. There's nothing wrong with it. It's gorgeous. We could update it just the same way we can Arrowhead. Mm-hmm. All right. What are we going to get for it? A parking lot? Like an enhanced parking lot?
Yeah, that was frustrating.
A really nice VIP rich person parking lot. So you want Jackson County to completely mow down a stadium that they love and build a new one that's going to cost a huge cost to local business and to everybody to pay for Johnson County to come park better at Chiefs games? Go fuck yourself. Like, that's what I boil the vote down to. Like,
really?
Yeah, there was nothing for Jackson County in the Chiefs rendering.
Yeah, that's true. That's something that I wasn't focused on at all.
We're losing something, and we're gaining something downtown, but it's not something downtown that like enough of us want that bad. And the thing that we have, it's not that much better than the thing we have now. And what do we gain at the Arrowhead? Enhanced parking lot.
That was now that we're business owners and capitalists and colonists and the bad people.
Colonists.
Oh, we're everything now that we're business owners. But the simple realization that in no world would we be like, can we invest in your business or brand and you make all the money from it? It's just a terrible business move to ask all of these individual people to make.
It's a great business move because
that from their point of view, of course, but from us,
it's the standard, dude. It's the standard. It is. There is. That's the cost of doing business. If you want to have if you want to have Patrick Mahomes and you want to have Chiefs, and if you want winners to suck less because you get to go to Super Bowls, then. Which it does. I think it actually sucks less the last few winters to live here than it would if we didn't have the Chiefs playing into February. then you have to pay for a stadium because that's the only way it works. There is no other. There's not an NFL stadium that's privately. There's like one. Like it's Dallas. Every other one is publicly funded. They're all publicly funded. So if every thrift store was publicly funded, would you be the one that I want to be privately funded?
Isn't Lambeau owned by all the citizens?
That's like
don't they get like $1 check a year or something? That's what I want.
Okay, great. Yes, I don't know how their exact structure works. I knew a guy on the rugby team, Brian Kennedy, who had like he owned like 1/1000th of 1% of the Packers, but it's not like it's not like a club vote. Everybody go to town hall and like.
I don't know.
That's just not how it works. There aren't NFL teams where that's how it works. So. That you don't get that, Kansas City. Sorry. Sorry that the NFL is a different business than your Burger King. But it is. The government they're also tax exempt. They pay no taxes. And then when the government wants their American flag unfolded at their games, they pay the NFL to do it. When there's a flyover, they pay the NFL to do it. Like there was like a John Oliver segment on this that like went deep into the NFL's relationship with the government.
Yeah.
The NFL pays no taxes, and then an obscene number of millions a year goes from the American government for military advertising and military appreciation back into the NFL.
Listen, I love football. I love the Chiefs. I'll fight for them to stay. The winners have been better. But like that, I think it doesn't mean we can't get a better deal.
Yes, that's it. We want a better deal. And I think we will get a better deal. I think that the Chiefs will stay in Jackson County. I think they'll stay exactly where the fuck they are.
Yeah.
And the Royals, I have no clue. I still think they'll probably end up downtown. And if they don't end up downtown, then hopefully they're in like North Kansas City or Kansas. And not Nashville. But like if you're in Nashville, okay. Right?
I don't know. There's enough shit to do in Nashville. You don't need that.
Exciting about the Chiefs, though. The good news is they have a Welshman named Rees-Zammit who's coming here to play. Rees Lightning. He is a world-class rugby player, and we happen to be rugby people and huge Chiefs fans. Yeah, and I'm also a huge Taylor Swift fan and have been for a long time. And like my friends know that about me. This is a known thing. So this is like
just a great year for you.
It's sublime. It makes no sense at all that the Chiefs are getting this star. Like this isn't just. Like there have been other rugby players to come into the NFL, and they weren't like stars. This guy's a star. A British and Irish Lion is something that means nothing to anybody watching, but that's like being a European all-star, like one of the best players in your position in Europe, and they only do it once every 4 years, and they go tour the world. And like all of the rugby world stops for these tours, and he's one of those at like a super young age, and he's like
that's the big difference. Is how old is he?
He's like 23 or something like that.
That's got to be the youngest rugby player to ever make the transition.
I'm sure. You know, and he's definitely the best one to have ever made the transition.
Yeah, true.
Which means like he's doing it young, so like if he fails, he can just go back to rugby and be one of the best players in rugby again. But if he succeeds, he's going to be a bazillionaire. So like, the money thing is interesting.
He's just got to learn how to run routes, right? He doesn't have to learn how to tackle.
So the main reason, I guess, and I just listened to, he was on a lot of rugby media this week, so I listened to him being interviewed on the rugby podcast that I always listen to,
cool.
And then the guy in the International Player Pathway who like managed him and coached him for the last several months through the process of transitioning, who runs that pathway process that he came through. I started listening to him being interviewed, which is fascinating. So the main reason that like people are excited about him is because the kickoff rules are changing, and I don't understand them exactly, but I guess there's going to be less touchbacks. And I guess the result is going to be bigger kickoff returners. So they won't be this tiny. Like McCole Hardman will no longer kickoff return because he's too small. So like they need to be bigger and gain more yardage. Louis Rees-Zammit is 6'3", so he also runs a really good 40 time. It was 4.43, I think, is what he timed at. He timed in the 4.3s as well, but his official one was 4.43, which isn't exceptionally great. But his like miles per hour on a rugby pitch, it was faster.
It's like 20.
It's faster than Tyreek Hill's is.
23 miles an hour, wasn't it?
It was like 24 or something. It was like a mile an hour faster than Tyreek Hill is on a football field.
That's without pads, though, right?
It's without pads, but it is in a rugby game, right, where you're being chased and there's no blocking, right? And so like that's pretty impressive.
That's true. I didn't even think about the the kick chase or just like kick receive and like run, because that is like kind of his specialty.
Yeah, and he's also like he tackles. So in rugby, like you have to be physical as a rugby, even as a wing, even at the weakest rugby position, you have.
There's
to be
a chance
physical.
you have to tackle a prop.
Right. So I think he has said that what he's trying to do is make the 53-man roster as the starting kick returner. That is his goal this year.
Okay.
So
cool.
he wants to be the starter at kick returner, and that is apparently the plan. And Andy Reid and Brett Veach, the coach and general manager, were texting him and calling him personally, which they don't do to everybody. And Mahomes and Travis Kelce were texting him. So they wanted him bad, the Chiefs did. And he was supposed to go to more visits after he met with the Chiefs, and he just didn't. He just stopped. So he wanted to go to the Chiefs. So anyways, it's very exciting. And, yeah, this guy's an absolute freak athlete. That's why it might work, is because he is a freak athlete.
Yeah, world class.
Generally speaking, the NFL athlete is better than the rugby athlete, professional rugby athlete at the top level, without question. Generally speaking. Like, they're bigger, faster, stronger, can jump higher. But Rees-Zammit is, like, one of the exceptions, where, like, he runs faster, jumps higher, and is, relatively stronger for being able to do that than people in the NFL. That's why it might work.
Fair. I don't want to open, but you think NFL athletes are greater than, like, international rugby players?
On, like, a timed speed? Like, if you put them through the NFL Combine, they would test faster.
That's okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess that.
I mean, I don't, like, how do you quantify athlete? But, like, are they bigger, faster, and stronger? Yes, I do think they are.
That makes sense. 90 minutes is different than...
But, like, the brain part
minutes.
and, like, skill part, no, I don't think that they're any level of that. But anyways, yeah, it's exciting. Louis Rees-Zammit's coming here. How it's going around here, there's some interesting stuff. River Market update. We're back.
Yep.
It's changed yet again. Another big existential change.
If anything stays the same, it's that everything changes.
That's right, especially the River Market every year.
Yeah. So now it's like bifurcated. Art Garden is on the northern side of the River Market, and then the southern side, by the main entrance, is River Flea Market. River Market.
I think it might be worthwhile to do a quick history. So we started in COVID 2020, and it was like $20 a space, and you had an entire parking space because they just didn't have any vendors, and it was COVID. It was like, come on, do it.
Like, this is easy.
Yeah, and it was great. You could get in every week. There was no issues. We made buckets of money, enough to be audacious enough to try to open this place. And then the next summer, the committee had changed the rules entirely and targeted them, it felt like, at us, because you could only bring one rack rather than people selling clothes. So that changed everything, and like we weren't in for like a month, and that hurt us. Then we got in. And then this last year, it was that they completely changed who was managing all of that space. It was Art Garden.
Yeah, it was no longer a flea market. It was artists.
They had outsourced it to somebody. And Alex was able to weasel us in and work his charm to keep us in. So we were one of the very few incumbents that got to stay.
Yeah, I think there were like 2 or 3 others that were allowed to keep selling.
So that was a huge weight off our shoulders, because we need the River Market. And then this year, that group's got the space cut in half.
Yeah.
And it's now being shared with River Market Flea, which is a lot of people exactly like us.
So I want to say like 18 to 20, maybe even more, like 24 different clothing vendors.
Really?
They had them like all...
2 years ago, they literally changed the rules to try to get rid of us and disincentivize clothing vendors.
Yeah.
And then this year, they were like, we're going to give you half the space and bring in 25 other people that are going to compete for your money.
Literally 30 racks of clothing.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I'd be curious to what some of the other outside stores think about that now, because I always assumed that they were the main businesses were the ones who were most upset by all of our clothing and signage. But it's interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it turns out. It was incredibly windy last Sunday.
Comically windy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm sure that probably maybe put a sour taste in some people's mouths. But yeah, I'm interested to see if it creates a vintage shopping culture there on Sundays now, because the city market itself is massive, and during the winter time, River Market Flea was able to kind of gather, I think, a decent following.
Yeah.
So it could be I'm pretty sure it will be like the mecca of vintage pop-ups during the summer.
It's going to change in the vintage space. It's going to change everything. So like the king was Vintage Market Flea, which is in the Crossroads outside Parlor. If you don't know what Parlor is, it's basically like a food court, like a super sexy, trendy food court that also has bars and events. And they pop up outside of that or inside of it and during bad weather. And they're like, I mean, they crush.
Yeah, it's always busy.
They spend a ton of money on marketing. They've been doing it for years now. They're the biggest one. And then there's a couple of other ones, but this River Market Flea is going to destroy them in terms of comparison. Not saying that the other one won't flourish, or it won't do well, but this one will become the predominant one without question, just because of the city market traffic.
Yeah.
So it's going to change our little community that we're now less of an idiotic outsider of significantly. But anyways, it's just fascinating. So River Market's back open. We're there. And it's going to be really interesting for us to see how we do. We have half the space. There's a lot more people there. I think we're both like somewhere between 40 to 60% in the area of it could be better for us. It could be worse for us. It could be indifferent.
Yeah.
The new good could wash out the new bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. There's a bookstore opening in downtown Raytown, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've yet to meet them. I've genuinely walked by, I want to say a dozen times, hoping to catch someone working inside. But it's like the Twilight Zone. Like every time I turn my back, there's more books on the shelf, but there's no people.
My paranoia tells me that they might have been in here. That there was a couple that came in and wearing masks one day, and I have seen a lady in there stocking the books. And in my head, that was them. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll find out. But I think their grand opening is Saturday.
Yes.
And it's called Trailhead Books.
Yeah.
Which I love too.
You can get lost reading.
One of the best things that could ever happen to our business is if downtown Raytown became like a downtown Boonville, where like it was trail-centric businesses trying to bring trail traffic.
Yes.
And so I love the title.
Yeah, I would say we talk about it sometimes off mic, but like there's a ceiling for Gnarly Hustle, and it's very paralleled with the ceiling of Raytown.
Right.
It's like if Raytown doesn't rise, then Gnarly Hustle's got a pretty low ceiling. So it's exciting to see a grand opening, ribbon cutting, not just like a prospect, but it looks cool.
And we'll be I'm going to be a judgmental tool. Like there's lots of ribbon cuttings, but there's sometimes ribbon cuttings because commercial space in Raytown is so readily available and so cheap that there's a lot of times ribbon cuttings where you're not going to be open for very long.
Yeah. And
people will sometimes come in and like want to foster a relationship, which we will always say yes to that with businesses, and then they're closed in like 60 days.
Yeah.
But this one just looks optically different.
Yes.
Right? Like their branding looks on point. Like the bookstore looks awesome. And so I hope that they are as awesome as they look like they're going to be, and I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, I get the feeling that they know books, which is what it's going to take to get people to their bookstore.
How does do they literally buy every book in their store and then it's just sunk cost until they sell it?
Or possible.
Is it on consignment somehow, or how does it work?
I would love to get them in behind a mic.
Yeah, I'm so curious because I can just those books, even at wholesale, like just the overhead of that is got to be overwhelming.
Yeah, you can fit a lot of books in a small area.
But I hope it works, man. And a bookstore is such a cool business. Like to come to now the day in Raytown, like some of the best barbecue in Kansas City. There's a brewery. We have about to be the only thrift store bar in Kansas City. By the way, this is the only spot you can smoke in half the bars in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And you can smoke weed in bars in Kansas City if they let you. And we're about to have a bookstore in downtown. And like, I don't know. We have a speakeasy in downtown Raytown. Like, there's cool shit here. Like, now the day you could spend in Raytown just getting better, which is a good segue to Alex's son's place. Alex performed here, one of our early live performances during a market. And you chatted with him recently about his building.
Yeah, it's a local or Raytown High School, Raytown South High School.
High School grad.
He's done at least one performance here. A super cool guy. He's come in quite a few times and shopped, and he's got this ambition to open a coffee shop / business entrepreneur little seed place. We need to get him behind a mic and kind of give us the full details, but the gist of it will be a functioning coffee shop and a commercial kitchen that businesses can use as their address for whenever they're getting a food license or trying to open up their own little pop-up food or catering company. And then an auxiliary room that businesses can rent out for like short periods of time to gain business knowledge, a following, and jumpstart getting to their own place. So like he's already got that space filled for a hairdresser who's going to use it, I think, for the first 6 months, and then they will help her get a permanent place. I think it'll be like a big nonprofit, and they have like courses, classes, and maybe grants designed to help people go from idea to functioning business. Specifically, he wants it to be like in Raytown. So like if he could even work with like local landowners or like with the city and like create incentives for new businesses, I don't know. But it's really ambitious, and like he's got funding for it, and he's still building funding for it, and he's got approved plans, which we know from experience.
Own the building.
They own the building. They've got city approved plans. They've got labor on hire already. They just kind of need to pull the trigger. He's ambitiously saying that they could be open in the next 3 to 4 months, which would be sick.
Yeah.
But that would just be another peg on the cool downtown business tree.
Like I don't know what the right term is. Is it pleasure businesses? Like businesses that aren't like, I have to go do my taxes, or I have to go get my hair cut, or I have to go, you know what I mean? It's like a business
where you have to spend money, and the places where you want to spend money.
Right. These are like leisure or like where you would spend your dispensable income.
Like that's how you build like an economy, is places you have to spend money are a race to the bottom. So you're always going to have your save-a-lots, your as cheap as they can be, but then places you want to spend money don't have to be the cheapest. They're building on like a unique experience, or you want to come here over the place you have to go because it's better.
Yeah.
And so then you can make more money, spend more money.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I would
which
say
is good for downtowns.
There was an escape room in Raytown at one point.
What?
One of these buildings down here could be an escape room.
That would be. I enjoy escape rooms. I haven't done them a lot, but the ones that I've done, as long as
Raytown Water Company, they have way too much square footage. Didn't they have an escape room somewhere in there?
They can have it in a different building each month.
Yeah, that's totally true. All right, well, we need to go run a thrift store, so thank you for joining us, and tune in next week where we'll have Tom from Northland Vintage.
Yeah.
See you later.
Peace.
I had a cramp really like the last 7.
You what?